The 1960s were a time of cultural upheaval, and the films of that era reflected the bold, rebellious spirit of the decade. Many films from this time pushed boundaries with their daring themes, shocking imagery, and controversial subject matter. As a result, some were banned, censored, or faced public outrage. From explicit sexuality to political protests, these films challenged societal norms and sparked debates that still resonate today. Luckily, many of these once restricted films are now streaming, offering a chance to explore the provocative stories that defined a generation. Here are 15 controversial 60s films you can stream now. Get ready for a journey through the era's most daring and provocative cinema. The House is Black, 1963. The House is Black is a powerful 22-minute Iranian documentary by Forough Farrokhzad, focusing on a leper colony. Farrokhzad's poetic lens captures the raw beauty and suffering of the residents, blending modern poetry and striking imagery. The film portrays the harsh realities of leprosy, the isolation of its victims, and their lives, often hidden by society. Banned in Iran for its unflinching portrayal of the disease and feminist themes, it later gained recognition worldwide. Its haunting visuals and poignant narrative continue to resonate, making it a groundbreaking film that combines social activism with cinematic artistry. Black Sunday, 1960. Directed by Italian maestro Mario Bava, Black Sunday is a gory gothic horror film that helped define the Euro horror genre. The film follows a witch who returns from the grave to seek revenge, using a terrifying mask to exact her vengeance. Its dark themes, vivid imagery, and shocking violence were ahead of its time, pushing boundaries with its visceral horror. The film was banned in Britain until 1968 and heavily censored in the US, where it was released under the name Mask of Satan. Its influence on later filmmakers like Tim Burton and Sam Raimi is undeniable, shaping the visual language of horror. Medium Cool, 1969. Medium Cool, directed by Haskell Wexler, is a revolutionary film that blends fiction with documentary realism. Set against the backdrop of the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago, the film follows a television cameraman who becomes involved in the political chaos surrounding the protests. Wexler, a cinematographer, uses his documentary style to capture real protests, police brutality, and the growing political unrest. The film's X rating for nudity and language sparked controversy, but it remains a groundbreaking piece of cinema that captures the raw, unfiltered essence of political activism and the media's role in shaping public perception. Fondo y Lis, 1968. Fondo y Lis, Alejandro Jodorowsky's directorial debut, is a surreal, avant-garde film that explores themes of love, pain, and human consciousness. The film follows a couple on a bizarre, symbolic journey to find the mythical city of Tar. Shot with an experimental style, it features surreal imagery, disturbing symbolism, and controversial themes like cannibalism and masochism. The film's shocking content led to riots during its premiere, and it was banned in several countries. Though initially rejected by mainstream audiences, it later gained a cult following for its daring and boundary-pushing approach to filmmaking, influencing the genre of psychedelic cinema. La Dolce Vita, 1960. Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita is a sprawling, iconic exploration of post-war decadence in Rome. The film follows Marcello Rubini, a disillusioned gossip columnist, played by Marcello Mastroianni, as he navigates the hedonistic and hollow lifestyles of the city's elite. The film captures a world of excess, where Marcello searches for meaning amidst the constant pursuit of pleasure. The iconic scene of Anita Ekberg wading through the Trevi Fountain became symbolic of the film's larger themes of empty indulgence. At the time, the Vatican denounced it for its portrayal of sin and moral decay. Fellini's use of striking black-and-white cinematography, surreal sequences, and profound existential questions turned La Dolce Vita into a cinematic landmark, sparking global debates on the role of the media, celebrity culture, and modern society's emptiness. Despite censorship, the film became a massive success, both critically and commercially, and its influence can be seen in countless films that followed. La Dolce Vita remains one of the most significant films of the 20th century, questioning the price of fame, the emptiness of materialism, and the struggles of the human soul. The Damned, 1969. The Damned, originally La Caduta dell'Idee, by Luchino Visconti, is a provocative and disturbing depiction of a German aristocratic family during the rise of the Nazi regime. The film spans several decades, exploring themes of incest, power, corruption, and decadence. At its core, the family is torn apart by betrayal, manipulation, and the seduction of fascism. Dirk Bogarde's chilling performance as the steely patriarch and Helmut Berger's portrayal of the volatile, gender-bending villain are central to the film's impact. Its explicit content, including depictions of pedophilia and sadomasochism, led to censorship in several countries. The film's dark, opulent aesthetic and brutal themes challenge the idealized notion of European aristocracy, offering a scathing critique of power, morality, and historical complicity. Despite its controversial subject matter, The Damned was well received in some quarters and even garnered attention at international film festivals. Its lavish yet grotesque visual style, combined with its taboo-breaking content, made it one of the most shocking films of the era. Today it remains a haunting meditation on the collapse of civility and the rise of totalitarianism, still relevant in its exploration of societal decay. Hunger, 1966. Hunger, originally Sult, is a stark psychological drama by Danish director Henning Carlsen, based on the novel by Knut Hamsun. Set in 1890s Copenhagen, the film follows Pontus, a starving writer who becomes consumed by both his artistic ambitions and his physical hunger. The film presents Pontus's mental and physical decline as he battles poverty, isolation, and his obsession with food. Carlsen uses handheld cameras, grainy textures, and natural lighting to create a sense of claustrophobia and rawness, immersing viewers in the protagonist's suffering. The film's unflinching depiction of starvation and psychological distress led to its controversial reception. Its intense realism, especially the scenes of Pontus hallucinating and eating scraps of paper, deeply disturbed audiences. Despite the controversy, Hunger was praised for its powerful portrayal of human desperation and the frailty of the human spirit. The lead actor, Per Oscarsson, gave an award-winning performance, dropping 22 pounds to embody his character's emaciation. The film, although limited in its release, had a significant impact on modern cinema, influencing films about existential suffering and social commentary. Hunger remains a hard-hitting classic about human endurance and the pursuit of self-expression. Psycho, 1960. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is the quintessential horror thriller, breaking all conventions of film and narrative storytelling upon its release. The story follows Marion Crane, Janet Leigh, a secretary who steals money and checks into the eerie Bates Motel, where she meets the enigmatic Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins. The film's infamous shower scene, with its shocking violence and innovative editing, became a cinematic milestone and forever changed the genre. Hitchcock's subversion of audience expectations, starting with the apparent protagonist's murder midway through, redefined suspense and horror. Psycho pushed the boundaries of what could be shown on screen, including the first-ever toilet flush in American cinema, and faced severe censorship. Hitchcock's decision to finance the film himself allowed him to take creative risks that would have been impossible with a major studio. The film's chilling score, composed by Bernard Herrmann, elevated the tension, while the shocking twist ending turned it into a cultural phenomenon. Psycho grossed millions and became the foundation for modern slasher films, establishing a new era in horror cinema. Hitchcock's mastery of suspense, his exploration of human psychology, and the film's groundbreaking narrative make it an enduring classic that still influences filmmakers today. Lolita, 1962. Stanley Kubrick's Lolita, based on Vladimir Nabokov's controversial novel, is a darkly satirical examination of obsession, sexual desire, and societal hypocrisy. The film tells the story of Humbert, James Mason, a middle-aged man who becomes infatuated with the titular Lolita Sue Lyon, a 14-year-old girl. Kubrick navigates the complex and taboo subject matter with wit, subtlety, and an ironic tone that both critiques and exposes the moral contradictions of society. Despite his careful handling of the source material, Kubrick faced intense backlash and censorship. The US production code forced Kubrick to age Lolita from 12 to 14, but the film still attracted condemnation. It was banned in Ireland and faced cuts in several other countries, while Catholic groups labeled it morally objectionable. The film's marketing, which teased only Lolita's legs, sparked moral panic even before it was released. Kubrick's masterful direction and the outstanding performances, particularly by Mason and Peter Sellers, who plays the bizarre Quilty, turned Lolita into a financial success, grossing $9 million worldwide. The film's provocative subject matter remains controversial today, but Kubrick's exploration of obsession and power continues to provoke thought about morality, art, and censorship. The War Game, 1966. The War Game is a groundbreaking British pseudo-documentary directed by Peter Watkins, depicting the devastating consequences of a nuclear war. Shot in the style of a news report, it imagines a Soviet nuclear attack on Kent, England, and follows the aftermath through a stark, realistic lens. The film was banned by the BBC for its disturbing content, fearing it would incite public panic. When it was finally released in theaters, the film's raw, unflinching portrayal of radiation burns, societal breakdown, and the collapse of civilization shocked audiences. The absence of a musical score, replaced by the ticking of a Geiger counter and unsettling sounds of destruction, added to its unsettling realism. The War Game won the 1967 Academy Award for Best Documentary, Short Subject, but remained largely unseen in the UK for nearly 2 decades due to its initial censorship. Its stark, visceral portrayal of a nuclear apocalypse inspired anti-nuclear movements, and remains one of the most haunting films about the consequences of war. Even today, its vivid, unsettling imagery serves as a chilling reminder of the potential horrors of nuclear conflict. As tensions rise globally over nuclear weaponry, the War Game continues to resonate, offering an eerily prophetic warning about the fragility of civilization. Belle de Jour, 1967. Louis Buñuel's Belle de Jour is a provocative exploration of sexual desire, repression, and the hidden layers of bourgeois society. Starring Catherine Deneuve in a career-defining role, the film follows Séverine, a young housewife who, despite being happily married, is drawn to a secret life as a prostitute in a high-class brothel. Buñuel blends dreamlike sequences with sharp social commentary, exploring the contradictions of Séverine's desires, guilt, and fantasies. The film challenges the conventions of sexuality and morality, portraying a woman's struggle for autonomy within the constraints of her conventional life. Buñuel's masterful direction transforms the film into an exploration of the surreal, as Séverine's sexual escapades blur the line between reality and fantasy. The film was controversial for its depiction of masochism and fetishism, and the Catholic Church denounced it as immoral. Despite this, Belle de Jour became a major commercial and critical success, cementing Deneuve's status as an international star. Its thematic complexity, stylistic boldness, and unforgettable imagery, including the famous scene of Deneuve dressed in white while surrounded by vivid colors, solidify Belle de Jour as one of Buñuel's most influential films. Today it remains a provocative examination of sexual liberation, repression, and the complexities of the human psyche, still inspiring filmmakers and scholars alike. The Pawnbroker, 1964. Sidney Lumet's The Pawnbroker is a stark, emotionally powerful drama that delves into the trauma of Holocaust survival and its psychological effects. Rod Steiger delivers an Oscar-nominated performance as Sol Nazerman, a Jewish Holocaust survivor who now runs a pawn shop in Harlem, emotionally numbed by the horrors he witnessed during the war. The film's narrative is woven with flashbacks to his time in a concentration camp, portraying the deep scars left by his experiences. Sol's emotional detachment is challenged when he becomes involved with the lives of his customers and begins to confront his past. The Pawnbroker was one of the first American films to directly address the horrors of the Holocaust and to feature nudity with brief but significant shots of breasts, a controversial move that contributed to the film's battles with censors. The film was groundbreaking for its realistic portrayal of trauma, racial tension, and poverty in 1960s America. Its raw, unflinching depiction of Sol's emotional and psychological state, combined with Lumet's direction and the film's moody cinematography, makes The Pawnbroker an intense, thought-provoking work. Despite its controversies, the film was well received and is regarded as one of the early works in American cinema to explore themes of trauma and identity with such depth. Its influence can be seen in subsequent films that tackle the lasting effects of war and survival. If, 1968. If is a British film directed by Lindsay Anderson, known for its radical political themes and provocative portrayal of rebellion against authority. Set in an elite British boarding school, the film follows Mick Travis, Malcolm McDowell, a student who becomes increasingly disillusioned with the oppressive, authoritarian nature of the school and its rigid class structure. The film is a surreal and violent critique of institutional power, as Mick and his friends gradually escalate their acts of defiance, culminating in a violent rebellion. If blends dark humor, satire, and brutal violence, using the school's setting as a microcosm for society's power dynamics. The film's shocking climax, which includes the murder of a teacher, shocked audiences and led to it being banned in some areas. The use of surreal imagery and Anderson's innovative direction gave the film a unique, almost dreamlike quality, making it a key example of the British New Wave. If also marked a defining moment for McDowell's career, establishing him as a charismatic and rebellious figure, a role he would later reprise in A Clockwork Orange. Today, the film remains a powerful statement on youth alienation, authority, and social structures. Its mix of surrealism and sharp political critique makes it a relevant and challenging film, still resonating with contemporary viewers. Midnight Cowboy, 1969. John Schlesinger's Midnight Cowboy is an emotionally raw and gritty portrait of two misfits trying to survive in New York City. The film follows Joe Buck, John Voight, a naive Texan who arrives in the city with dreams of becoming a male prostitute, and his unlikely friendship with Ratso Rizzo, Dustin Hoffman, a con man with a debilitating illness. Their journey through the underbelly of the city forms the heart of the film as they navigate betrayal, isolation, and the harsh realities of life. Midnight Cowboy was groundbreaking for its portrayal of sexuality, homelessness, and societal outcasts in a way that was previously unseen in mainstream cinema. The film's X rating, a rarity for an Oscar-winning film, was due to its mature themes and frank depiction of sexual relationships, yet its heartfelt portrayal of human connection resonated deeply with audiences. Schlesinger's direction, combined with Voight and Hoffman's remarkable performances, created a film that transcended its controversial content. Midnight Cowboy became the first and only X-rated film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. It also earned Hoffman a Best Actor nomination, with Sylvia Miles receiving an Oscar nomination for her brief but memorable performance. The film's exploration of loneliness, friendship, and survival remains poignant and relevant, making Midnight Cowboy an enduring classic. These 15 controversial 60s films offer a glimpse into a time when cinema dared to confront the taboo and challenge societal norms. Whether censored, banned, or heavily criticized, each of these films played a pivotal role in reshaping the boundaries of storytelling. Now, streaming for modern audiences, they continue to provoke thought and spark conversation, making them a must-watch for anyone interested in the rebellious spirit of the 60s. So, grab your popcorn and dive into these cinematic classics that forever changed the landscape of film. I Am Curious, Yellow, 1967. I Am Curious, Yellow, directed by Vilgot Schumann, is a controversial Swedish film that blends political discourse, softcore sex, and experimental documentary style. The film follows Lena, a student who explores Swedish society, class, and sexuality through interviews and personal experiences. The film's explicit content led to widespread controversy, with U.S. Customs initially seizing the reels. Despite attempts to censor it, the Supreme Court ruled it wasn't obscene, allowing it to become a massive art house success. The film's audacious mix of sex and politics paved the way for future works exploring the boundaries of social taboos and cinema.